Welcome all GBC students, candidates, and everybody to the first session of this year town hall debate for the position of Director of Communication and Internal at the GSA GBC board. Welcome, everybody. My name is Rosa Yazdan-Nejat. I'm the news reporter at the Dialogue, and I'm very happy to be your host and moderator for today's debate. Okay, because we start with 15-minute delays and we are behind the schedule, so let me just go to the agenda, review quickly, and then we can start. So, what we should do and cover today. After I just reviewed some general rules, we have time for you, 90 seconds for opening a statement. After that, I ask you some individual question. Then after that, there are some common question. It means that everybody should answer this question. Then we go to the student question, and then we have time for closing statement. And then I'll finish the debate. So, are you good? Start. Okay. Let me review the general rules, and you should comply the general rule all over in all the debate. Rule number 1, the time. Please be careful about the time. The time limit as specified for each session will be strictly followed. If the time limit is exceeded, the speaker will be cut off by moderator. I need to cut off you. Number 2, the only candidate will be allowed to speak at a time. If another candidate speaks over the speaker, they will either lose some time of their next speaking turn, the opportunity to rebuttal, or an entire speaking turn according to the rules specific to each round below. And be careful. I may speak over the candidate or cut them off at any time. It depends on the time and the question and need to clarify some items. Number 3, that's very important. Inappropriate language or action will lead to loss of chance for the candidate to speak again. No personal attacks will be allowed. All remarks and comment during the rebuttal or statement must remain professional. Number 4, candidates are not allowed to use cell phone, electronic device, or anything during the all the debate. Number 5, candidate will have 90 seconds to deliver an opening statement that include but is not limited to their motivation to run for the position, the work they plan to do, and why they are the right person for the position. Number 6, candidate will have 1 minute at the end of debate for closing statements. In this time, they can summarize their idea and conclude their arguments. Individual round. Number 1, candidate will be asked a specific question for this round. The candidate will be allotted at maximum of 2 minutes to answer the question. Number 2, the time limit for rebuttal is 90 seconds. Candidate cannot speak over another. If somebody wants to rebuttal, just raise your hand and wait for me to show that you can go. Common question round. Number 1, question will be asked for a candidate running for a particular position to answer. Number 2, each candidate will initially have 90 seconds with the chance for additional 60 seconds. As with other round, candidate must raise their hand and wait for the moderator before they can speak. And a student question, and of course, moderator round. Number 1, student question will see the floor giving to concerned students and will be directed to individual candidate according to their opening statement and previous argument. Number 2, this round will also include follow-up question from moderator. The follow-up question will be directed question. Number 3, each candidate is allotted a maximum 90 seconds to answer the question. So students are here have chance to ask the question by themselves, but those who are watching us online can send a question to the email address communications@sagbc.ca. Okay, all good? Any question? Okay, let's start. Heather, I will start from you.
Hi.
Just you have the 90 seconds for opening a statement.
She's
Sorry.
roasting me from before.
Don't worry, I asked. Yes.
Because it's a timer and we are not using our devices, I think it would be convenient for all of us if we had the time to introduce.
I did, well, actually, she's gonna get that.
Yeah, I just my
Okay, thank you. Yes.
the sign you can.
No, that's very helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Sharp it. I use this. Okay, the sign and then show the sign.
Okay,
And
and it's gonna be maybe basic wordless or not?
No,
I mean,
just
what-
because I wanna make sure that I check the time. And obviously, I should apologize because sometimes during the debate, I will lose eye contact because I take notes, I should look at the time, I read the paper. So I apologize for losing the eye contact, but you have all my attention. Okay, good?
I believe you.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's start from Heather, if you are okay. Heather, you have time for opening statement.
Okay.
Angelica, you turned it on.
Hello. Oh. Can everyone hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Heather, Heather Chan. I'm running for Director of Communications Internal. I ran for Director of Education Equity before in March. Some of my platform is the same, but as always, my platform is shaped by students for students. For example, I found out when I was speaking with students about the fact that international students do not have access to pap smears as part of our health benefits plan, and that's something that I want to change for sure. Furthermore, I am looking into housing because I've read the George Brown Student Task Force Housing Report, and there's a lot that goes on. There's a lot that's mentioned in that report. I myself have experienced housing insecurity at some points in my life. You know, the reason why I wasn't so involved within the spring semester was because I had to work. I wasn't able to find work within the campus, so I had to work outside the campus. Anyway, so hello again to people who have seen me before, and hello to people who haven't seen me before. Welcome to George Brown College, and I look forward to speaking with you more over the campaign and vote, regardless, vote. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, my name is Kanjal and I'm running for the position of Director of Communications and Governance. Why? Because I believe that the power to drive the real change in the world is the clear communication. If we have clear communication, we have the power to change everything that's around us, create knowledge, understanding, and association. I, as a DCI, plan to create an inclusive environment where every voice feels heard, every idea feels welcome, and where the transparency isn't just a buzzword, but a way of living. Where every student feels that everything that they're doing here is seen and heard by the students. Every step of their way, I want to be there with them. Whatever they do, I want to be their spokesperson, not just for the ed, but for the students as well. Where they feel comfortable coming to me and sharing their problems, and together we can find solutions to those problems. I want to create an environment where they don't feel that there's an obligation from coming to colleges or like participating in the events. I want to make everything accessible for them so that irrespective of where they are from, they feel that this is their home. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Nikita Yadav and you might know me as Nikki. I'm running as the Director of Internal and Communications, which is going to be the official spokesperson of SAGBC. Now there's a very simple reason for wanting to be the official spokesperson. I have a very loud voice, and when I pondered upon it, I realized that maybe it is a blessing to use for people who need to be heard. It's as simple as that. I run on the basis of first-hand experience. Everything that I've experienced in this country is something that everyone else is going through, and that shakes me. That shakes me to even imagine that me being the kind of person I am and the confidence I carry, I still remain shaken to the adversities and the hardships that come along our way as students in general, not to only cut this down to international students. Every student is worth its while, so I believe that it is crucial. Everyone gets to experience a good mental health status, which is why I am intending on keeping the athletic center open during the weekends. Second is about the part-time jobs. We deserve to have a safer space that's actually contributing towards our life. So rising the minimum wage to $2 up the minimum wage for everybody that's working in school. I'm also intending to find a way to sort housing crisis because that's very important. So to summarize myself, this is not only the things that my platform has, there's various others if you've spoken to me. And I'm Nikki, running for Director Internal and Communication. Thank you.
Rosa,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
we're gonna move the chair so they can talk to the audience for so we're just gonna. So you know.
Yeah, thank you. That sounds good.
Yeah.
It's zoomed in right now because they're talking, but. Oh, yeah. It's totally fine.
Yeah, I'm all good. I'm all
Okay,
good.
okay.
Yes, all right, let us go. Let's get, all right.
Are you ready? Yep.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Hi. Thank you for supporting.
Okay.
Okay, let's go to the next part, individual question. Each of you will be asked 2 or 3 questions, have 2 minutes answer. And if each of you want to rebuttal, you have 1 minute. Please comply the rule.
A question about what is rebuttal? If I have a question towards my other colleagues here. Okay, thank you.
About the statement, not out of the story. It's mentioned something, you have 1 minute to ask a question about the statement.
Understood.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Angela, let's start from you. First question. The person in the position helped create a cohesion between all members of the board. What is your vision of how you will achieve this? So the work of the board is aimed toward the betterment of the students.
You asking that how would I build an inclusive environment within the board, right?
Yes.
So as a GCI, creating an environment where not just the students but the board itself, where I'm going to work with the people there. It's very important that they feel that I'm one of them. Being a part of them and making them a part of me is very important. So as a BCI, I would like to collaborate with different people that are in the board and get to know them as a person because I believe that there's a lot that goes behind the scene. So getting to know them as a person would be a main key element that would be, would where I'm collaborating with my team because it would help me to get better insights about what they're actually thinking and what the decisions that they are saying or like making, where is it coming from. So to create an inclusive environment within the board, I feel that I want to get to know them personally so that the work environment thrives at the fastest speed.
So thank you. You still have time if you want to complete your statement, but if you are finished, okay, thank you. Any question? If you have.
Well, the initiative is really appreciated and personally know you. My question is very simple. It's just the answer that you gave seemed very abstract to me. So making people feel like you're one of them. We are in a culturally diverse environment, and I know that your intentions are pure. I'm just a little more curious on understanding how do you think that you're going to be one of them? Like, what is the strategy that is going to be brought to the board? Because words shouldn't seem like they're just words in the air. Like, is there any actual effort that you're putting into it?
When we talk about board, that there are also people, there are also students like you and me that would be there. So like you said that you know me personally, that I think that's why we connect well as well. So when you know the people, you know that what they are actually capable of. Instead of there are different sides of people. When they're at workspace, that there is a completely different side of them, and maybe there's something else we can do. So maybe there are things that can be incorporated from both the sides. So as a DCI, I would like to bring both sides of them to the table so that there are better ideas that are available to the student. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Nikita. Nikki or Nikita?
Nikita is my full name. I go by Nikki.
Okay, so also sport. So, the question for you. There have been many issues this year involving board members, including the suspension of the executive due to their behavior. If you elected, how would you ensure that the issue like this do not happen again?
Thank you very much for the question. So I believe that when the elections happen, that is actually when you need to elect someone who is going to work in the favor of students. So that's where the first mistake happens. And I think I totally understand this because what happens is whoever goes around the campus more and talks to people more and has more friends gets elected. But ultimately, we're harming the career of the future students. So whichever board was elected in the past was actually governing me. Like I entered the school recently, so it's only been 1 year, and I was being governed by the board that was already elected. So the choice originally is in the hands of the students, I would say. So when you are going to vote for a person, it's not about knowing the person personally. It can often be that you've met the person for the first time, but whatever they're standing for, are they really standing for it? Is the question. Ultimately, when I am elected as the Director of Communications and Internal, and I am running my own board, I believe that a passion has to be constantly fueled. It is crucial that we remind ourselves why we are in this position. We're not in this position to be only handling a seat and having a tag with ourselves. We are in this position because we are working towards a purpose. And that leadership is important. If that leadership and governance is missing, maybe that's when the board can go astray. But if we are constantly guided by us, we are guided by our peers, and we are guided by the rest of the mentors in the team, that guidance and following them is important. Also, at the same time, there has to be, not to say punishment, but there is some sort of accountability that is very important. So I am that person. I am that person who holds you accountable, which is why I believe I'm the perfect person for this position. Again, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Heather, do you want to? Rebuttal or
Yeah,
you want to answer your
I
question?
just wanted to add that, yeah, it's okay, I got it, don't worry, I'm old hat at this. Yeah, so I just wanted to ask, so my plan and my platform, which I've had up since the 13th, is to have an accountability officer, because no one, like, of course, we need to hold each other accountable. But I think just from my experience with the last elections, as someone who is passionate and, because you don't run again if you're not passionate about the students, right? It's a lot, and there was a lot of students who asked me to run again. That's why I believe I'm ready for the job. However, my thing is, I'm going to have an accountability officer appointed in order to address this. So how else would you address this aside from holding each other accountable? I totally agree, we do need to have strong, passionate leaders on the board. But we do also need to make sure that they are also held accountable, because everyone, it starts with us, right? It starts with all of you. It's not about me, it's not about my competitors, it's about you.
Thank you. You can keep your mic, yes. This is your.
Am I not answering the rebuttal?
Oh, yeah, if you want to answer, because I think that's that is enough.
Thank you.
Still have to talk.
Yes, if there's a question posed to me, it is my responsibility to answer it. Well, I do see the plug you made in there about having an accountability officer, which is amazing. I don't precisely see it as a question because you mostly just supported my statement of it is very important to have accountability on the board. And that is one of the primary things. I would also really invite everyone here to please be at our annual general meetings, to please be in the meetings where we are there, because this position that we, all of us are contending for is not just to be there again, just to hold the position. We are there to serve you, and you are there to question us if we are not doing it. And that's why I very confidently say that I want to stand for this position. Because the change is within us. Heather is right. It is within us, and I believe it is within me. So Nikki, for Director Internal Communications, thank you.
Thank you so much, Nikita. Okay, it's back to Heather.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
What's the question?
what steps will you take to ensure that the board can work efficiently with the same manager and staff?
So having worked within the SA over the past few months and having run for election again, so I would say to make sure that the board works efficiently, we need to make sure that there are checks and balances. We need to make sure that we are transparent. That's part of my platform, actually. If you look at my poster, transparency, accountability, opportunity. So I stand by what I say. When I say transparency, I mean, I want to make sure that each and every one of you know what is happening within the SA as it's happening. I want to make sure you know about the minutes, that it's not just some clandestine meetings that people, they don't know what's going on, I want to make sure, because we have them on the site, but people don't know, unless you put it on an easily digestible form like Insta, they're not gonna know, right? So that's what I want to do, and I'm gonna go out there every day. I will be available every day, just as I have been for promoting elections, just as I have been promoting the AGM, just as I have been with you, the students. Telling you folks about the SA, telling you folks about my platform. I have been here, you have seen my face. I will continue to be there for you if elected. You have my word, and my word is my bonds. That is how, and that is how I intend to hold people, that's to make it work more efficiently. To basically make sure that we're transparent, people know what's going on, therefore it puts more fire under us to work, You have to be clear and concise. No one answers what's about it.
Thank you, Heather. Any question?
Is it okay if I hear your question again?
This question that I asked, yes. What step will you take to ensure that the board can work effectively with the same managers and staff?
Okay.
Okay, this is also an opportunity to just make your statements more clear. I'm not trying to attack here.
That's okay.
I am that student who asks a lot of questions in class, okay? I'll be honest.
Same.
So yeah, I just think that the question was more oriented towards how the management is going to work along with the board. And I see your intentions and I see that they are pure. I'm just seeing it from a more strategic perspective where I can actually see that there is going to be a result. So questioning about that. Thank you.
No, totally fair.
I totally agree with Nikki. Actually, Nikki's a good friend of mine. I consider a good friend of mine, so I totally agree. Yeah, so to that end, I already have a good working relationship with Rose, general manager. I already have a good working relationship with Ronnie, with Wafa. Again, I was promoting the elections before I decided to run. And again, there's a lot of things I do in the background that I don't post on social media all the time, but there's a lot of things that I do in the background, and there's a lot of plans that I have already in motion. As I have finished probation, so now I'm ready and able to get my plans, get my promotions out there. And just make sure that you, the students, benefit from a stronger CCC, a mental health mandate, stronger community care center, a stronger health benefits plan, and a stronger, I want to work on affordable housing as well. And yeah, that's how it is. It goes back to relationships. And I'm very good at connecting and forming relationships with people. A lot of you know.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you. And you want to continue? Do you have any? Okay. So. The next question. How do you hold a member of the board director accountable to their duties and roles, ensuring efficiency? How make them accountable for their responsibilities and duties?
When we look at the board, there are multiple responsibilities and duties that come along with the position. Even as we are running for the center, communications and internal, I think there are a lot of responsibilities that and duties that come along even while we are sitting here. So when you are on the board, there are things that needs to be considered for the student. First, I would like to hear from the perspective of what the board thinks, what the members that are really in particular, what are they actually, what were they thinking, where the perspective came from. I would like to talk to them personally and myself. Bring in a clear communication, not with just within the board, but with the students as well. As the student association is for the students, by the students, board is definitely accountable to the students. The students have the right to know what goes inside the board. They have to know that the decisions that are taken for them, they are taken with all fairness and all transparency. So when there's something that goes wrong on the inside, that's definitely going to impact the students that are on the outside. So we need to consider every aspect of the problems. So when we are talking about board, I think holding the board accountable is something that we need to do in collectiveness with all the team members there and all the students as well. I would like to talk to the board members myself and then try to solve the problem as much as I can. And if not, then I would like to talk to the students as well, that's where the problems are coming from. And then we would like to discuss the board and take it further from there. It actually depends on the situation and the circumstances that are there on the site. So I would like to say that when holding a board accountable is a big thing, but definitely it needs to be done as well when there are students involved and their lives are involved. So thinking about students, I think we need to make decisions that are good for both the board and the students. The student association is for the students by the students. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any questions? Go ahead.
The question again, sorry, my brain went, I'm here. But the question again, I believe it was, how do we hold the other board members accountable?
Are you not doing it back? You want to give up?
Oh,
Sorry, you cannot speak over each other, just if you need any explanation.
yeah, so the explanation about the question.
About the question, yes, how we can make the board member accountable and responsible from their duty and responsibilities.
Fair enough. I mean, well, I have here the director of communications and internal job description actually. So as per the application, I mean, basically you have to make sure that you keep clear and concise minutes. You have to make sure that you record everyone's words, and you have to make sure that that basically what they say will happen. And I mean, after reading that something doesn't make sense, I don't really have a rebuttal per se, that's just something to add on. But yeah, no, totally, you have to make sure that things are recorded, things are clear, and things are concise. And easily digestible by students.
Thank you so much. Before I go to the next question, I should ask you comply. If somebody speak about something, you should listen carefully and add your thoughts. If you have any question, if you need more information, just raise your hand for rebuttal, and then it's your turn to talk about the question and about the other candidate thoughts and speak and statements. Please keep in the scope of each question and ask a question directly about the other candidate thoughts and statements. Okay? Thank you so much. The next question, I think that it's your turn. Yeah? Okay. Nikki, what would be the primary objective that would shape the mission and strategy to improve the student association?
Thank you for bringing this question because I actually want to answer this. And I think I would just say as I mentioned, my entire platform is from first-hand experience as a student who has newly entered this country. And with that, I do not reduce my platform to just international students. It is to students for all. It is for students who are traveling from Mississauga. Traveling 2 hours a day is not a joke. It is for students who have left their family houses, moved out from them, and are paying rent now in the same city. It's not easy, it's different. So when I talk about all of this, my concern is at these fragile ages of 18-year-old, 21-year-old, 25-year-old, what is actually happening is our mental health is getting crushed within all these things. We are constantly thinking about finding a secure part-time job, getting enough hours there, trying to find a house where your landlord doesn't kick you out. And all these things happen because we are students. We don't know about the landlord tenant policies, for example. I didn't. It took me a while. We don't know about how do we get ourselves groceries if we cannot afford it. And we don't know that if you're working a 5-hour, 15-minute shift, you have to get a break and your breaks are unpaid. We don't know about these things and these are being used or exploited. Students are being exploited by the world outside. So these are my concerns and this is something I feel deeply about, which is why I am including that prioritizing the student mental health, understanding that what you're really going through is crucial, which is why I propose that I want the athletic center to be open on the weekends for everyone. We go to school during the week. How are we supposed to work on our mental health? After that, we want the weekends to ourselves. We want that the minimum wage in school is $2 above the minimum wage in general. We are students. If our school doesn't support us, who will?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, Heather?
Yes.
You can go.
Sorry, I just have to ask, how do you go about intending to do, all of that? For one, many folks might not know, but the gym is separate from the SA, not to say that we don't have influence over what could or could not happen. Let me know when I can turn the mic again. I mean, I can talk loud enough for everyone to hear anyway, I have my voice, right? Okay, but yes, I do. Okay, thank you. All right, yeah, so my point is, the many folks may not know, but the SAGBC and GBC or George Brown College is completely different entities. So George Brown College has, basically has jurisdiction over the gyms. Again, SAGBC is your student union, it's by students for students, as Pranjal said. And we are your voice. However, how do you intend to basically make sure that they stay open during the weekends when, again, this is not up to us? We have a voice, we have a say in the matter, but it's not up to us. And also, how do you intend to increase, because again, we have some jobs available to students, but many jobs are covered by GBC, we don't have jurisdiction over that. How do you intend on, aside from relationships, how do you intend on fulfilling that promise?
Thank you so much for the question. I ran out of time and this just gives me enough to explain it. So I also work as the Athletic Center ambassador in case of a lot of you are not aware, which I have no issues with. It's more about when I worked there, my question constantly used to be to Jeff Gordon that why are we not open during the weekends? So he actually explained it to me because there's union involved, there has to be a full-time staff, etc. So how do we as SA find a way around this? Upon having multiple conversations, and this is enough information to all of the rest of the people running for the positions, because you can also implement something like this in the future. The athletic center does do rentals. So we are at a position where we can rent this space, we can run free yoga classes that I am intending to implement, which will be starting this January, whether or not I am in the position. And I can do all of this just by renting the space, because then it is not under the union anymore, then it is under SAGBC. So that rental happens through us and we can actually execute
Thank
that.
you so much. Heather, let's, and then we will go back to you. Yes,
Fair enough.
I think you're right, don't worry, you have right. But
That
first,
sounds like a great idea to you, and I think it's going to help a lot of students, but the students that want to go there, but what about the students that will have to work there during the weekends? We need to take them into consideration as well. When there are staff that has to work on weekends, and it cannot just be the athletic staff that will have to work on weekends. There needs to be other faculties as well that needs to be available in the college, and we need to keep that space open. So that's not something I feel that everyone would be up to doing it, and because takes a lot to do it. And I want to know if there's something that you have in mind about that, how do you plan to do it? Because there's a lot of stuff that has to be involved, and asking everyone, because it's a very busy schedule in Canada. We are all aware of that. So everybody needs a break. So weekends are their break. And I, as a person, like personally, I would never want to, break my breaks.
That is a very valid point. You need to understand that this plan is not being imposed. It is being brought so that it can serve everyone. We are not going to impose someone to work on the weekends. I have a simple question. Everyone in the room, does anybody work on the weekends? I work on the weekends. Anybody work on the weekends here? Anybody who has a job and you have to work on the weekend?
Sometimes I don't, that's the nature of it.
So you do background work, you do any sorts of jobs, you have to sometimes work on the weekends, and although I would love to have a break, when you're first starting up in school and you want to pay your rent and you want to pay your bills and the international student fees of almost $20,000, you have to work yourself on the weekends sometimes, and rather than seeing this as an enemy towards the students, I want you to view this as an opportunity. It's an opportunity for those students who are not getting enough hours in school. It's an opportunity for that SA staff who is not being able to fulfill their 20 hours because there's not enough work. So if you want to use this opportunity and find employment, we are providing that for you. That is the way this works.
I'm so sorry. Heather, it's your turn, and then after that.
Okay, so that all sounds good. I'm all for more employment for students and something that regardless of whether I'm elected or not, I'm also working on as well. However, I do have and I'm working on it in my scope within within the SAGBC and also within the general George Brown College community before people ask. Don't worry, big things are coming up. Anyway, point being, how do you intend on making, because not everyone who wants to go to gym can go to gym, unfortunately. How do you, like, for example, disabilities, maybe like, even invisible disabilities, like, I myself have ADHD. Some people might not be able to go to gym to deal with so many other people. Some people might not be fully mobile. How do you intend on making that more inclusive, and making it so that the gym is for everyone, not just for a few, because we are a student union for all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the question. And while that question is being asked to me, I just want to remind everyone who is using the gym right now and to what capacity. We use the gym right now. The gym shuts at either 4 or 6 p.m. After that, you cannot access it. Sometimes when the varsity athletes are leaving, we cannot access the gym again because they need enough time to practice. The gym does have facilities already, like there are those sliders. I'm not sure what's the name for it in English, but rather than staircases, there's like a sliding thing that you can just go above if you're using a wheelchair. So the gym does have facilities like that. There is the elevator bringing you up. I am taking baby steps in what I'm going to do. I'm not in the position yet. Everything that I'm doing right now is a planted seed that is going to evolve. For right now, what I'm mentioning is there is a collective issue of not being able to use the gym and having to pay to use the gym somewhere else. So saving that money, not having to pay somewhere else, to the audience that we can cater already, we are trying to make the gym more available. Thanks for bringing up the point about accessibility because that definitely has to be addressed. We want to be helpful to more, and this can be looked into the future again with the help of amazing individuals like yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please. Silence. Okay, it's your turn.
So when you were answering my question, you mentioned that we need an appropriate and increase the hours for the fitness staff. But like Heather mentioned, the ethnic and George Brown athletic centers are two completely different entities. So when you're talking about staff, yes, that's not SS staff you're talking about. The SS staff, yes, like you mentioned that they need an increase in minimum wage, yes, that's something that I'm in the unit to work on as well. But when we're talking about athletic center, it's not SS staff, it's the George Brown staff as well. So how are you combining these two things?
Thank you so much for the question, and I would like to highlight that this is nothing but lack of knowledge for a lot of us. I do understand that it is a place of privilege for me because I work both in GDC and in SA that I understand these things, and I know it's not as simple when you hear it. So just to clarify, when we are doing the rental, when SA is doing the rental, SA brings their staff. When the gym is open in the weekends, it is important that there is a full-time staff from the athletic center, which the college is not being able to afford, which is why the gym is shut. So this is like a loophole or like a way out of it that we are trying to create. Again, this needs sitting down, this needs approval, and this will most likely need a vote. It will need a vote from all of you to implement something like this. I can't be the single person going ahead and asking for the service. For all of us, I need your support. So the employment will be SA staff because SA will be renting the space. It's as simple as that, despite both of them being completely different entities. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, Nikita, there is a question here. I think that you didn't answer, but you can keep it in your mind. No, not right now. I just want to find you, keep it in your mind about the source of water and you have raising 2% out of the minimum aid and unpaid rate, but not now, maybe in the other part or in the next second. So, there, this is your turn.
Well,
Ask you, ask person. Okay. Let's back to you. Okay. Is there any specific challenge that students face in GDC that the board of director needs to work on? How will you address this challenge? Biggest challenge students at this stage at the GDC face. And what is your plan?
I was at student like Burgundy for at Georgetown College as well, and where I got the opportunity to interact with multiple students around different campuses and with different backgrounds. So one thing that came down and was very much common in every student that I met was their problem with the communication issues, the problem with transportation, and the problem with them having being able to access every single facility provided by Georgetown or SA. So when we talk about transportation and other events that are provided by SA, we see that there are only limited students that are there. Why is that? Students as a part of their tuition are already paying the SA membership fees. So when talking about transportation, we definitely can provide them with more presto passes or monthly passes that we can bring. There's a program that's already going in at SA at $50 per semester is provided to students. But I feel that the program can be expanded and more opportunities for the presto passes can be brought to the students at Georgetown College. Because when they're coming to colleges, we don't want them to see that as a barrier. We want them to come to classes and just study there and not think about the other expenses that are there outside. We want to provide them what's best for them. So when we think about bringing in presto passes, I think it is very beneficial for the students that will be there. And other than that, I propose to bring in free events for the students because as I mentioned that students as a part of their tuition are already paying SA membership fees. So we want to bring the students to every events that are by the SA. Why? Because I believe that there's a lot that they need to see outside the classroom as well. But it's very limited because not everybody can afford to pay for all the events that are there. So when we bring in free events, I believe that every student can be a part of them and they can see the world outside the classroom as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any question?
That is an amazing initiative, and like everyone needs a press to pass. I remember when I first came to Canada, I used to walk 45 minutes because I couldn't afford that $3. Like I have no embarrassment and shame in saying this, but expenses were so high, I couldn't afford the $3.30, and I used to walk 45 minutes to school. But to add to that, I just have a simple question, and I want to understand if you know what is like the total population of George Brown College, and this is aimed to understand that how are you going to be funding, like in my understanding, the reason it is so limited right now, and obviously it shouldn't be. Like if the presto is free, that's the best thing ever, because transportation is important. But given the population of George Brown College, and I'd like to hear a number for this, please. What's the number of population? How are you going to make it more accessible for everyone? There's a reason that just diving into this out of curiosity.
So I think that's a great thing to ask, and I wanted to add this further to my point as well. I believe that the financial reports presented by the dialogue are very healthy and supports the fact that the events can be made free to the public and the students at Georgetown College. So why not? Are they not already paying enough? They need to have an environment where they can feel open. They need to see the place that outside their classroom they can go and just hang with their friends and not having to think about the other expenses that add to their pocket. We need a place for them as well to create, to feel at home. When essay can do that, when the reports show that it can be done, then why can't we do it? So that's what I believe in, and I think that's the reason why I am so much, emphasizing on the fact to bring in the students.
Oh, so no, please, don't speak first. So, yes, you raise your hands and I keep your turn, but now it's Heather's turn.
Yeah, so you said free presto, right? And now during the last election, I ran against someone who also promised free presto for everyone. Now, does your plan include the UPass? Because if so, I'm just gonna let people know, the UPass is, I mean, we would need everyone to agree on. Because right now, there's a fair pass program between Go Transit and My Way and other transit systems. So if you come in from Mississauga, if you come in from outside of Toronto, which many students do, they already get TTC there with that. So you're essentially, if that is the case, you're essentially, one would be asking students to pay $80 a month extra. That is not transferable, by the way. This pass is not transferable. You cannot sell it. You cannot opt out of this. This is a mandatory fee that everyone needs to pay. Okay, regardless of whether they use it or not. And yeah, so I just want to know, other than that, and raising the presto, which I also intend to do, I'm sure pretty much everyone does. How do you intend on doing that?
As you talked about that, it was something that was proposed last time I go, and I believe that that's how the whole Presto program that we are all applying to right now is happening. There is work that is being done, but it takes time. That the work, and I'm ready to work more on that program. If right now the semester, there's a limit $50 per semester, I'm ready to expand more on that. I'm ready to work more on that, and we need to take it from there. We need to consider every situation that's possible and every problem that can get in the way. And I'm ready to work on that with everyone's support there. It's about students and not just what the board or we want, or me as a DCI would ever want. It's about them. It's about what would be more convenient for them as students. When we talk about Presto passes, the $50 is I think something that can be spent in like 2 weeks. So when we talk about students that are coming from Mississauga or Brampton or somewhere outside of Toronto region, we need to bring in more monetary financial help for them to be helpful.
Thank you so much. But
Okay.
yes, Lisa, you can ask your question and then after that, we'll match.
Okay, so going back to my question, again, it was with the Presto, and I need everyone to understand that we are having this discussion so that it's fair and open in front of everyone. And it's also a learning process, like you're learning from each other, everyone is very talented. So my curiosity again is that I was talking about numbers because I want to understand how are you doing the calculation about how are we going to provide all the students, what's like, if you just know how the population, according to the 2022 data, the population is about 26,000 students in Georgetown. And this is full time, and the part time is about 3,000. So how are we going to provide for all of them? And this is again, This question is out of curiosity so that anyone and everyone can implement it. That's the reason.
Thank you so much.
So when we talk, like I mentioned, that it's a process that does not happen over the years, like that is not within a day, it takes time. So when we are talking about the process, there's a lot that goes behind the scenes, behind what you see on the ground. I am ready to work on that. When we talk about numbers, I believe, like you mentioned, that there are 26,000 students. Obviously, like we need to work on a way that we provide it to all of them. But yes, definitely, I'm ready to work with the board together as a team and to work on that and see that what are the prospective options that we can look at for the students' betterment. And as a DCI, I think that gives you the right and the power also to discuss it with the board. And it's your responsibility and your sole duty to think about the students that are actually looking for you. So that's what I think I'm planning on doing.
Thank you so much. Heather, do you want to continue? Do you want to ask a question?
Well, I think Nikki addressed addressed it already, but the fact that, yeah, there are, well, now it's about roughly 24,000 from my knowledge, working in the elections team. Before, of course. So, yeah, even me, like myself, when I, like, you have to think about these, like, just doing these calculations for Presto, like, if to try and reach 24,000 students, that is a lot. So, I mean, I don't really have a question per se. But yeah, I mean, like, I guess right now I have the financial statement with me actually. Sorry, I think yes, I do have a financial statement.
Please, second.
Yeah, got you. So I have the financial statement with me actually for May 31st, 2024. And I'm just wondering, like, right now, we're already spending about I believe I did the math, it's about $81,000 on Presto already. So, and like, and keep in mind, most people don't remember. This money comes from you, from the SA levy, right? So. I guess, how do you propose, again, with Nikki saying the calculations, I know it's.
Heather, I'm sorry, I should be that
Sorry.
22nd from the next.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
That is
Because
what it is,
important.
don't be fair,
And
I only.
I get this 20 minutes. Nikita, do you want to, okay, can you please answer with Heather and then after that?
Okay, so when I'm, right now I'm running for the position, but once I am in the essay, once I am there, then I will have more insights into knowledge that happens inside the student association as well. I don't work at student association right now, so there's limited knowledge that is available to me right now. But once I'm in there, there will be a more amount of knowledge that I can bring into use not just for myself, but the students as well. There's a lot that can be brought to students, and I think that it's not fair for to the students when they are already paying for so many aspects and other stuff that are there. And it's just like an added expense to their pockets. So I want to work on that, but once I'm in the end, I will have more knowledge and more insight and more number of calculations about the financial reports and everything. But as far as I know, right now, I've only seen the one presented by the and that feels very heavy.
Thank you, but I think I need to tell you how, but before you, Sir Peter, can we continue? Well, okay, because, they're behind the schedule, I need to cover. Okay, Nikita, if you want to ask a question, but.
Okay, so this is less of a question and more of what I've gathered from this whole mini debate. And it's more along, we all want to make Presto available for free. I want to, I know she wants to, I know Heather wants to. But the ultimatum of all of this is that there is a reality called money in the background. And I am only trying to promise what is actually viable. Like, I can go ahead and say that I want to give all of you free Presto and I will, but I can't give it to you out of my pocket. I have to give it to you out of what SA has. And that is why all the platforms that I'm mentioning right now is something that I can immediately execute the moment I'm in the boat. There are things that will be worked on in the longer run, and I'm sure that all of you understand this because you've seen my work throughout my journey in George Brown. But this is something that I want to educate the students about, that when you hear about these platforms, try to ponder upon how real is it? And like, is it really going to help you? Thank you.
Thank you so much. So.
No, it's like a.
But I. So I think that whatever I said and whatever I actually know, maybe in the press room, every idea comes from somewhere, right? The bringing in the $50 per semester was also an idea that came in from somewhere. At that time, it might not have seemed viable, but once the person was in the board, then what the changes that were made. So until or unless you are not there to make the change, you cannot actually bring it and cannot decide whether or not it's viable or not. When I say it's viable, I believe that once I'm in there, I have the power, I have the leadership ability to myself to bring that change. I'm ready to work on the ideas. I'm a very creative person and the ideas that come to my mind, I am more than willing to bring them to you.
Thank you so much. If there's any question from your statement, we can go. Okay, Heather, let's get back to you.
Hello, I'm gonna be as clear as I can be and as quick as possible.
Please.
Yes.
And the ask questions and then it starts.
So.
Please comply. Okay, you need to communicate a unified message, but there are different opinion among say staff and other board members. How would you handle this to create that message of unified without disregulating the creation group or set of agents? How we can create this unified message and unified voice among this board and say staff and managers?
I think I'm gonna quote a friend of mine and this is how I think as well. Basically, we collaborate. We write things down, we type things out, using a project management system such as Monday. Using whiteboard at the very base level, right? We need to all come together and talk, Maybe some people have some things that they want to say, some people have some other things that they want to say as well, people, that's life, that's humans, right? We all disagree at some point or another, we all agree on some points or other. However, what I found in my career at George Brown College is and we can all relate to people, we can all relate to like on some level, like for example, we are all students, right? We all we all work for SA, or like when I am elected, we'll all be working for SA, we all want what is best for the students, right? So at the end of the day, I just want to make sure that we all come together and agree on key points. It won't, obviously, the nitty-gritty is gonna be a bit different as I find, but we all have something that we can contribute towards a greater good for George Brown College, for the students of George Brown College, and for the future of George Brown College, and of course, you, the students. And yeah, basically that's all I have to say really, because you can always relate to people.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Anything you want to add? So it has to. How would you balance the need for transparency and potential confidentiality concern in communicate for the organization externally? The order of transparency, level of confidentiality, and success.
I think when I learned about NDA, that was a game changer. I was like, wow, there's something called NDA here. And the full form is non-disclosure agreement. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm still learning all this.
No, that's correct.
Okay, that's correct. Thanks. So it is very important to execute what you know and what you learn. So every day I feel very grateful that I come to this school and I learned so much from not just my professors, but all of you walking and talking to me. So I know that NDAs have to be executed and that is crucial. While we talk about transparency, it has more to deal with how we are working, how we are spending our money, and what is actually going on in terms of the things that I promised. When we are talking about having confidentiality, I think it means more of things that cannot go out of the room because we don't want gossip. We don't want people to talk about the board, or we don't want like, we basically don't want any negative energy around. So that is what confidentiality to me would mean. So every time we have a non-disclosure agreement on any meeting, I would abide by it. And given that we are already talking about accountability, everyone has to be accountable. And I also wanted to mention, if I still have time, that I am going to implement the 3-strike rule. When I heard about the suspension in the last board, God knows how that lasted that long. Like, so many things happened and then we got suspended in the end. Like, according to me, we should have a 3-strike rule so that every time something goes wrong, you get those strikes, and in the end, with a unified decision, which does not necessarily have to be just the board. It can be all the students. We decide on how we want to proceed later. So this is how I'm going to maintain transparency, and you guys will know because you guys know everything about me. So we are going to maintain that transparency. However, every time you enter a room where there is a non-disclosure agreement going on, you have to abide by it, otherwise I don't take that lightly. Nikki doesn't take that lightly.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Any
you.
question? Okay. You want?
No, you know what, actually. I believe we already have NDAs, well, when we sign all the paperwork, we already have NDAs. So, from my recollection anyway, so other than that, and my proposal of, basically having an accountability officer. And also making sure that we hire the correct people, the people with the right mindsets. Of making sure that we all work together and are basically don't divulge company secrets that are not good for the company. Yeah, I mean, other than that, what else do you propose? Do you have any other proposals or? Yeah,
Okay, I also just noticed your friendship bracelet. I have one as well.
yeah, right?
Okay, so moving on, just wanted to mention that, yes, we do have NDAs already. I signed a contract with SAGBC as well, so I'm aware. But apart from that, what I was bringing to was how seriously is this being taken and whether or not is it being implemented. So, we have a lot of things in place, but like we have a SNAP program, but does everyone know about it? Maybe not, so we have to work towards that. So again, NDA is not an original idea. I did mention that I learned about this very, very recently, but I think that it is a very useful tool. So I don't mind owning to the fact that this is not an original idea, but this is something that I will strictly implement. Along with that, when this is combined with a 3-strike rule, I see that it makes a difference because it does not let things escalate to an extent that you don't want it to. So that's how I view it, and I'm open to more advice and more understanding and obviously participation from my fellow students. Thank you.
Thank you. You want to?
So you mentioned about gossip, right? So we all know that it's not a good thing when things go around, whether or not it's right or wrong. Gossip, whether you do right or wrong, you are on the right path or whatever you're doing, people are going to talk about you. So how do you plan to keep the board out of the things out of the wrong information that goes around?
So first, this is going back to my first ever question that I answered in this debate, and it is about having people who are constantly driven by the passion that we are standing in the board for. I'm not in this position, fighting for this position right now, being like, okay, I want it, and after I have it, I'm going to forget the intention behind it. That's not the motive. Everyone in the board has to be leaders who are passionate towards working for the student development, and that means not dealing with external things that distract you, basically, gossip per se. So I'm of the understanding that my board is going to be a board that is going to follow these rules and sort of obligations of respecting our privacy and also respecting our students, because our time here, we are getting paid. We are not getting paid to talk about each other or to talk about what is going wrong in the board. We are here to talk about how are we going to improve student life, and that's what I'm working towards. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other question, comment? Everybody answered three questions except you, Heather, you answered two. So the last question is for you. How will you communicate and engage with diverse student group to ensure maximum meaningful engagement with this?
So how do I commit to the
Communicate and engage with diverse students.
Well, I mean, I already do. Like many of you folks here have seen me around, have seen me walk and talk amongst you. I sit at your table. I play Uno with you folks. I make friendship bracelets, karaoke. I do all these things already. To be honest, this position is just an extension of who I am as a person. I see myself as like a flame that lights up other people, that makes, because some people may not feel, like I've been there. I know what it's like to feel dejected, to feel disillusioned by the world today that we live in, having to work two jobs, having housing insecurity, there's so many things. I am an intersectional person. We are all intersectional people. There's one thing that I learned from working within the community care center as an equity peer worker. It's that we are all special. We are all special. And I believe that as I said before, we all have something that we can relate to each other about, whether it's just being a student at George Brown or not. I don't see myself as any better than anybody else, and I don't believe anyone should either. I think that is how I drive diversity, through me, through my example to the students. And I hope that the students will follow my example as well, and SA of course as well. As Nikki said, we need passionate leaders. We need leaders who care about the students. That is why I decided to work within the community care center. That's why I decided to work, that's why I was promoted to the elections promotion board before I decided to run. Because I care. I want to make sure that students have the same opportunities that I have, and I am the biggest communicator to students about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any question? So, thank you everyone. This is the end of first session, individual question. I'm going to the common question. I asked one question and each of you has 90 minutes to answer this question. There's no time for rebuttal to ask question each other. Just answer the question, your question, whatever question you want. So, first, let us start from you. Why are you a strong candidate for this position? Why students should vote for you? Why do you think that you are the best person for this position?
When we talk about essay, I've mentioned it before as well, it's for the students by the students. When we see the students that are sitting around, I am one of them. I have sat there with them. I have talked to them. I have heard their problems. I have faced the similar problems, and I have been through what they are going through. And I, as a person, if I'm elected, I plan to bring an environment where things that we as students are facing right now, the coming generations will not face. I want to set an example for the generations to come in, for them to feel SA and George Brown their home. We say that cities are classrooms. I want to bring that city that they see from their windows, from the classroom, to here. I want to give them the first hands-on experience what the city in the classroom feels like. I want to bring in more job opportunities, not just from the college, but from outside as well. We know that George Brown College offers multiple partnerships like MLSE for the students. I'm not asking to vote for me, I'm asking to vote for what's best for you. And I believe that I have the power to bring in the change that's needed here. I have the power. I believe that I can bring the environment where everybody can actually feel comfortable and just be open. I'm an easygoing and I'm an outgoing person that people will feel connected to me and can share their problems openly.
Thank you so much. Please answer the question. Don't mention.
Okay, so I have to answer why I want to be the official spokesperson of SAGDC, which is Director Internal and Communication. And I'll just begin by saying I'm the biggest yapper I know. I talk. And when I talk, I want to use my talks for something that's actually beneficial That's how I started working with student life because I want to improve our life on campus, and I did that I could in my capacity. I have gone ahead, and while doing this, I realized that I'm actually very passionate about working with students because this is the community I thoroughly empathize with. I fully empathize with everyone here, and given my experience in George Brown so far, that I am very honored and privileged to have. Thanks for that. I feel that I have developed an understanding of what needs to be done, and along with that, just the feeling of me being on campus and you being comfortable enough to talk to me. So that's something I want to do. I also feel like it's unfair if I am the only one who is having a great time on campus, or there is only a certain community who's having a great time on campus, or if it's just me, Heather, and Pranjit having a good time on campus. We all need to have a good time on campus, and that feeling is driving me. So I'm not standing here to just be voted for. I'm standing here for you to vote for what you want. So remember that, and please, regardless, this is not just a pitch for me. This is a pitch for your voice and your future. I'll be gone in April if I don't get elected, but you'll be remaining here and your peers will. So what do you want for the college? Vote for that. And regardless of who you vote, go for it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Heather? Answer same question.
Same question.
Yes, why you are best candidate?
Well, I mean, I believe I'm the best candidate because I'm not running just because I want to run. Of course, you have to have the passion. I'm running because there are so many students who have asked me to run again. There are so many students who remember me from last time, who remember me from convocation, who remember me from all the events that I have been at, that I've volunteered at as part of student life. I started out at student life, volunteer squad. I started out from humble beginnings because I have a voice, because I listen to you. I want to amplify your voice. I want to be able to tell the board what is going on. Hey, by the way, we don't have taxpayers in the health benefits board. I got that from a student that I actually went out and spoke with at Waterfront campus. Right? You know, like, hey, we need even something simple as we need a bigger whiteboard for the pool hall at Casa Loma. I got that because I spoke with a student about that. Right? I went out there. I speak with students. I spoke with students, I still speak with students. Even if I wasn't running for election, I would still speak with students. Because I believe that it's not about me, it's about all of us. I want a more inclusive and better tomorrow for George Brown College. That is why I'm the best candidate.
Thank you so much, Reza. Let's back to you, Nikki. I want to ask a question about your campaign process. This is a good time to talk about raising 2% above minimum wage. You mentioned unpaid rate. You mentioned something about bringing mental health to students. Let's talk about your platform. How are your campaign promises written? And how will you ensure that you are able to fulfill this if you elected? Because you promised that you can immediately fulfill your process. How? Where is your social budget? What's your plan?
So the bylaws of the student association says that so the employees that we have, the part-time staff that we get from George Brown School, George Brown College is about 80 students. So SA employs about 80 part-time students. Don't mind my voice, please. And when we do this, according to the bylaws, we should be getting $2 above the minimum wage. I understand that the change that recently happened from 1665 to 1720 can be difficult, and maybe that's why we're not being able to get a hike. But because we are working in school, this is something that is crucial for us. Now again, coming back to budgeting, the international cap has changed the budgeting in SA as well, because there is limited money coming in. But how the money is being spent is a question. Where the money is being spent is a question. And when all of this happens, it is all for the community and it is all for the students, understood. But also the people who are actually working with us should be recognized. So while these positions last, Let us look into why it is crucial and how it is crucial. Again, the budget allocation cannot be done only by me. It has to be done by whoever my director of operations is going to be. The rest of the board, the voting for everyone. But this is primarily my focus, and this is something that I'm going to work on, given the budget that we have.
Thank you so much, but before you, I think that I misunderstood and I should apologize. You didn't mention that 2% above $2.
I said
Right now 70.20 and you promised $2.
above the minimum wage.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm sorry I couldn't answer your mental health question, but that was also.
Not now.
Okay, sorry about the time.
Maybe in a closing statement, you have an answer. So. Yes, sir.
When I talk about bringing things in, you have seen my posters and the things that I've promised. It's not just about giving them to you. It's about how I plan to bring in them in as well. When I say that I want to bring in free iPads and laptops for one full semester, it's not something that's just happening in, that's new here. It's happening in other colleges. The students, my friends who are studying at Humber College or studying a college are getting it. Then why not us? Are we not being the equal amount of tuition? We are, right? So we deserve the equal amount of opportunities as the other colleges and the other students in the different colleges have. If the students have iPads in semester, for one full semester, they can use it to its full potential, and then it can also help them in their studies and the other extracurriculars as well. Other than that, I was talking about free Presto passes. I think I've already mentioned how do I plan to bring that in. The program is already there. I'm ready to expand that program, work more on that with the whole board and the students as well. We need a community where everybody has their own voice, and I plan to bring in those things for the students. If we talk about, like Vicky mentioned, increasing minimum wages for the part-time student staff, it's very important. I feel that too, because it's not just about giving them 2% or $2 increase in their wage. It's about recognizing the hard work that they put in. As a DCI, I want to recognize all the hard work that not just the part-time student staff, but all the students put in. Free events is the opportunity for them to explore the world outside the college life, outside the college class.
Thank you so much. We don't have time right now, but maybe in the next question, or as a closing statement regarding the free iPad for the one semester. I think that the cheapest iPad is 600 right now. And GBC right now, more than 50,000 students on in continuing education. Half of them come and ask for iPad, so we get 35,000 students come knock at the door, ask for iPad for one semester. And the budget is more than 70 million. So I do math right now, I'm not sure about this, but it should be around this. So the source of budget is important because we talk about the visibility of your costs, how you can do your costs. So you can talk about source of budget also for anything else in the closing statement, just give me your plan. So Heather, let's back to you. Answer the same question.
So how do I intend to?
Your platform,
My platform?
fulfill your promise.
Fair enough. So my platform's very simple. Again, it is fueled by students. I have actually spoken to students and asked what you folks want, right? For example, the capture example, what even the whiteboard example. And mental health is a big thing that came up as well. And I already am an equity peer worker, or hopefully will be an equity peer worker if elected, or when elected. So my point is, the things that I have in place, they are going to happen, right? It is tangible, it is real. I am looking into the budget to increase Presto. And the budget, by the way, was available at the AGM. So it was available to all students, regardless of whether they were there or not. Now, my plan is to basically raise more funds for the Presto with sponsorships. As well as looking into the current budget, as I said right now, currently about $81,000 is spent on Presto, so I believe. And basically, as in terms of hiring an accountability officer, that would be something that I propose and that would have to be, I would have to work with the board as well. And yeah, I want a stronger anti-racism sentiment because so many people are talking about that as well.
Thank you so much. The last question that I want to, I will now answer this question. This is the last question. You want to answer first? What is the one area where you believe the student association needs to improve? And if you elected, how you will fill the gap and make the necessary change for improvement?
I think it is also what my platform is on. It is definitely mental health and mental health with a marriage with community and how they are feeling when they first come in. And this is majorly because of the number of immigrants Toronto receives every year. When you come in, do you have a newcomer program in place? We do have assistance, but my questions are about when I first come in and I don't know how to access the banks, for example, or how does the whole Presto system works. Where is the school at that time? I'm coming to study here in this country. So the initial support that is important for students, I feel a lot of us lack that. And this is based on having spoken to multiple students. We figure our life out eventually, but why don't we provide that safety net in the start? So there are multiple things that can be done, not just the athletic center that I've been talking about, that is an eventual thing. But in the start, when we have September, we have orientation going on, we have January, we have orientation again. Why don't we have a helpline for our students? Or why don't we have a place that they can constantly rely on? Because they've just left their nest, they just left their parents or their humble wherever they are living in the past. So that is something that I want to work on, more community focused in a way that their mental health is not hampered and they can start off their new life in a beautiful manner that is stress free. So that's
Thank
what
you
I'm
so
looking for.
much.
Thank
you. And
As I mentioned in my opening statement as well, that I want to create an environment where transparency isn't just a buzzword, but it's a way of living. I believe that within essay, we need to bring in more transparency from the students sitting on the outside, like me, who do not work in essay or do not have an in about essay. So students, but they're already paying the fees for the membership fees for the essay. They need to know, they have all the right to know what's happening on the inside. Maintaining the confidentiality, definitely, but the other thing that they should be known by them, it cannot only be happening at the AGM once in a year, because what about the rest of the year? There are students that would be gone by then, they would have graduated, but we need to bring in a process where there are things that are more transparent to the students that are sitting on the outside. For example, if there are job postings, so we need to bring in environment so that we need to bring a space where they would know that where in the process are they right now. They never hear back, even if they are rejected, they never hear back. That's not something that should be happening. Even if they are not selected for any job posting, they have the right to know why were they not selected. They need to know that where in the process of the job application are they. They have all the right to know about essay and the things that they are paying for. That's why I believe that I stand for the transparency, to bring it to the students, to bring the involvement for the students where they feel that they have the opportunity to be.
thank you so much. Yes, please.
Sorry, the question was about, sorry.
You should answer the same question about the improvement.
Yeah, improvement, right, sorry. So improvements, basically, there's so many ways that we can improve, honestly, like as I said, through sponsorships for Presto, to increase Presto funding, so we don't put as much stress on the students' funding, through this essay student levy. Also, we have to keep in mind, the decrease in international students, as well, in regards to that, in enrollment. For improvement, I have so many ideas, honestly, like I said, we can create a more inclusive environment by creating more jobs, by having an anti-racism, anti-hate task force, or strengthening the community care center as a real tangible solution to the mental health issues which face all of us, and especially international students. I would like to make so that we have more community outreach within the scope of the CCC and also other initiatives such as O'Hare's. or the Office of Anti-Racism, Anti-Hate Racism and Equity. And yeah, I believe that there is more that we can do to communicate a healthy, happy environment within GBC through what we have and through other initiatives within the, thank you.
Thank you so much. This was the last question for the second session, comment question, but let's go through the students. If anybody wants to ask questions, of course. Please introduce yourself, and if you want to ask a question from one of the candidates, please mention name.
Hello, I am Zainul Imran, and my question is related to Nikki. When you talk about making like opening the gym on the weekend and student association paying for it to be opened on the weekend, how do you plan to fund it? How do you plan to bring in the funding? If it's okay, I have another question following that.
You want to answer first, or you want to listen? You can listen both question and then answer one by one. You have 1 minute for each question.
Okay, so I'll
Okay.
go first.
Then answer this question and then get back to you.
Okay. Thank you for the question, and the question is about how do we intend on doing the funding? Again, as I mentioned about rising the wage for all our workers, it is precisely important to remember that all of this comes from the budget that we have allocated. Again, the hours of the weekend is something that needs to be discussed, but having the gym open, even for a minimal period, is something that can be implemented given our budget. And like the way that our budget is divided when we receive it, we can create a section of mental health. And this is not out of the blue. This is something that the whole country suffers from. This is something that every student suffers from the moment that winter hits. So I have a question for you instead. Do you think that this is a priority?
Yeah, absolutely, it is a priority, but we have to consider the budget that student association have.
So the budget is only.
Please, let me complete. So when we talk about students, every student is paying around $135, $134.36 per student association, and they're paying athletic fee as well. So, and you're talking about increasing the minimum wage for SC students. That means increasing the minimum wage, meaning that the budget will go there as well. Now you're talking about paying Georgetown College to make the gyms open on weekends. Whereas when it's considered student association, it is student association of Georgetown College. And whenever student association use spaces for Georgetown College, they don't have to pay for anything. So I know one option can be to negotiate with the Georgetown College to make gyms open on the weekends. But I'm not sure how are you allocating the budgets, because once you say that you have to increase $2 for the employees, but the budget is going there, right? And now you say that we have to open the gyms on weekend. That is actually needed right now. I'm not disagreeing to that, but there's a budget limitation for the SC as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question, and thank you for answering that yes, it is a priority, it is needed. I mentioned that a rental space is available. I never talked about paying. I spoke about how rentals can be done and how there is a way around it. And when I say that, there is multiple conversations that can happen with different people, be it in George Brown or in SA. The budgets have to be allocated. Everything I'm talking right now is money, it's pure money, which is why I also need a strong director operations, of course. And if you are someone who understands the money aspect so well, and if you're running for it, that's great too. But just to add to my explanation here, when the budget comes in for us, it is never less. It is about what is priority. When we talk about fight the fees, it's not about we can't do it because there's no money for it. It's about what is priority. And if I think that this is priority, we will find a way for it. I don't have the money in my hands right now because I don't stand in that position. But when I do, you will see me work at it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for this part.
Do you have a second question or? Okay. Is there any question? Mr. Eager, Sean, have any
We have a
questions?
couple from online, so.
Okay. So because you know that some students send their question
Yes.
email us, so
Okay, so the first question will be for Pranjal. What's with the free iPads? Why would students need this above anything that's more important?
I think that it's a developing world, it's a tech world where everybody in the world uses technology as primary source for even if it's for studying. So even in my course, everybody has an iPad and laptops. But is it something that's feasible for everyone? They have to take out loans from different places and then buy it out so that they can, use it for their study purposes. But when we think that it's the college like Humber or Seneca, which are providing students with the free iPads and laptops for one whole semester, I think it's something we can do as well. It's for so iPads and laptops are already provided, but they are only for limited time, which creates a problem and burden for students. And I think I can use this opportunity to answer your question as well, like how do I plan to do it? So the program is already there. It needs an expansion. There's budgeted, it's already budgeted, there are things that are already planned out there financially and monetarily, but it needs an expansion and I plan to do that expansion so that it's accessible for everyone and it's accessible for a longer period of time instead of just for a shorter span like for 8 hours. Because if I have an exam tomorrow at 8 in the morning, the library is open until 9. So we need to get iPad for the one whole.
So who deserves these iPads then? Every brand new student that's coming to the college getting it, because again, it's 25,000 and as Rosa did the math, the cheapest iPad is coming in at $17 million. And you're talking about Humber, but that's not through their student association, that's Humber's IT, and they have a limited number of iPads for students, that's not every single student getting it, so where is that money coming?
So you asked me that who all should get it, right? So there are ways, like even if you talk about the nomination year when we got nominated as DCI, there were some criteria that needs to be met. Similar things can be done when we are offering students the iPad or the laptops for one whole semester. There can be the criteria that has to be made and the students need to meet the certain criteria in order to get the iPads and laptops.
Okay, and our second question, and this one is for anyone,
Who should answer?
anyone can answer it.
So, Heather, you can answer because you didn't answer any question.
So
I'm all for it.
people have been promising monthly passes of Presto for the last 2 years, but no one has achieved anything. How are you going to be different?
Well, for me, like I said, I plan on working with sponsorships. I already actually put some POs out on LinkedIn and to other companies. I've already been talking with MLSE as well. I mean, these are things that I've already been working on, so I'm not even elected yet. So, how I would be different is, yeah, I wanna make sure that we don't put as much stress on the students as, and on the students' funding as possible, because again, this is your money, right? Most of the money, over $20 million comes from the SA student levy, right? So I'm very careful of how I spend people's money, especially like even in the office, when I'm printing out stuff. I literally will write, if I make any mistakes, I'll write on the piece of paper to make sure that I'm not wasting folks' money. And yeah, it goes down to that, if I care about something that little, then of course I care about something that big, and my word is my bond, if I say something's gonna happen, it will happen. So, yeah, that there are ways that we can make things happen.
Thank you so much. Is there any other question?
You can do a wrap up though, see if anybody has anything left, otherwise go to the.
If there is no question, we can go to the next part, closing the statement, which are we have 2 minutes, wrap up your talk. State your closing statement, share your opinions, but only 2 minutes, please.
Who wants to go first?
Yes,
Okay,
you have. Start first.
Thank you so much. You know what, honestly, I'm so grateful to be here speaking with all of you folks today, because, it took a lot for me to get to where I am today. I wasn't always the confident, self-assured person that you come to me for help, or that you see me as today, right? It took a lot, and like I said, I see myself as like a spark or like a fire that lights other fires. I don't wanna hide that fire, and that is why I'm here. That is why I heeded folks' words, I heeded different students where it's not just one, not just two, many people have asked me to run again. That is why I'm running again. I'm running for you, the students, not for me. I'm running because I truly care about each and every one of you. I truly care about affordable housing. I truly care about looking for solutions for affordable housing. I was actually outreach to Ellis Dawn and PCI, PCL, sorry, who are building the Limberlost Tower, before this. Now, will this all happen? That's not entirely up to me, but I promise you, I will do my best. I'm already doing my best to represent you and your needs. And I promise, when elected, I will continue to listen to you and your voice. I will continue to amplify your voice and make sure that your voice is heard in all corners of SA and also GBC. Where our voice needs to be heard, it will be heard. I promise you that. 100%. That is a promise, and I intend to keep it. Thank you very much. Transparency, accountability, opportunity.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. And over to your turn. Right now, you have 2 minutes.
I mentioned that I'm an international student myself. When I first came to Canada, I feel I was privileged enough to have my family here, met me through my journey, and my brother constantly was there for me to support me. But that support is not available to every student that's here. I take it as a privilege that I had, but I also consider the need of the other students who do not have the similar kind of privilege that I did. I want to work for them. I want to work with you guys, with your support. I want to build an environment for you where you feel at home, where the city is your classroom, and the classroom, the city is brought to you in your classrooms as well. To bring in more networking opportunities for you guys. We all know that there are many programs that are co-ops included in the as a part of their course. So I want to bring more opportunities for your core programs as well. So that especially for international students who do not have a lot of connections here in Canada, it's harder for them to go out and find a job, especially a co-op which is a mandatory requirement for completing their program. So if I am elected as a DCI, I want to bring in more opportunities for you to collaborate with different companies so that you can complete your course successfully while gaining more hands-on experience of what life in Canada actually feels like in the work environment. Talking about the things that I'm offering about free Presto and free iPads, more scholarship opportunities, and more Uber rides and everything. These ideas are obviously nice to have. They are not just nice to have, but they are also the basic requirements and things that we need. These are the things that we need, and these things are something we use in everyday life and not just once in a while. When you are constantly in classroom struggling with different things, you need an event where you can go out and not having to think about the money. You don't want to think that I want to spend my money here. I want to be elected as a DCI because I believe that I can bring the change that's necessary for you guys, what's best for you.
Thank you so much. Nikita.
And it's down to me. I'm Nikita Yadav, known as Nikki, and I'm standing for your Director Internal and Communications. And if I want to begin my closing statement and why I'm standing, honestly, I'm just standing to make the most of my student life experience. I'm a student right now to my postgraduate program, and I feel like if I do not fulfill my fullest human potential here, then it's like a loss. And it's not just a loss for me. It's like when you have leadership capacity, you also have the responsibility to actually provide that leadership to a larger community. And I think that is what I'm trying to do here. Regardless of who wins the whole nomination and election, it is about bringing in an actual development in Georgetown College. And I do have the confidence in me that when I get elected in this position, I can adhere to everything that I have mentioned. And obviously, they are bound to different factors like budget and money, like the real world issues. But there are also things like collaboration, there are things like relationships, there's things about your network. And these are the things that I am trying to employ into bringing in a brighter future for our students. And it is not just for the sake of some social service, like it's not because I want to feel like a higher human being by doing some sort of social practice. It's because I feel that when I first came in, I deserved it, and to some extent I got it, or to a certain extent I also did not get it. But now when students come in, I want to be the one who is being able to provide them what they deserve. It's not something that we are trying to give them as the best thing, we are trying to give them what they deserve. So again, my platform stands on mental health, which I'm working with the athletic center for. I'm also trying to increase the wage for our part-time workers in SA. So $2 above your minimum wage is what I'm promising. And moving forward, I'm going to listen to you every day, learn from you, and work on it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, all candidates joining us today. Thank you all the students, those watching us online.